Who goes there?
Huh?
We are now live.
Oh, yay, I'm good.
Yay.
I'm just refreshing it and trying to find it. Okay, view stream. And good, I have my sounds off. And it's just me watching at the moment. Now 3. Andy, how was your Easter?
My Easter was good. We I made splits and we made a bunny cake like Becky was telling us about. I thought it was a great idea, so we had some fun doing that. And then Reagan tried to eat all of the cake.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure that's what Reagan had for breakfast.
Was cake?
Mm-hmm. Reminds me of the old Bill Cosby skit about dad cooking breakfast. And the kids come downstairs and want chocolate cake for breakfast. And he says, well, it has milk and eggs. That sounds like a suitable breakfast to me.
Those were the days. Hey, Lily's on. She says good morning, and so does Lisa. So, good morning. Did you video chat with your family?
We did, yeah. We set up Zoom. We had my in-laws and then all of my parents, my siblings. Yeah, it was very nice.
Nice. Yeah, I got to video chat with my sisters and their children. I talked to my mom on the phone and my dad, and actually I video chat with my grandma too for a little bit because she was part of the family phone call. And then Alex's first cousins that he's like all close to, they did like a first cousin Zoom chat, so I got to be part of that, even though I'm not like officially part of the family, but you know, his cousins live like Connecticut, Texas, so it was nice to see them. Lily did a Zoom with her whole family, and so did Lisa.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Everyone got to see family for the holiday.
Mm-hmm. Lisa, did you see Lisa's comment?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have used Zoom, but it's definitely not as much as I like. I use it now every day as opposed to like once a month, which I would use for like my committee meetings at GCC. So
yeah, it was funny. So COE is our national organization, right? And I was on a webinar, maybe you were as well, Christina, I'm not sure about this one, but the president of our national organization was talking about how we all need to keep connected as people as well. You know, we're doing Zoom meetings, but that the Zoom meeting format or whatever virtual technology you use is able to keep you connected to other people. And that was important to, you know, make sure that you're still taking care of yourself as a person and as a family member and as a friend. And I know my friends and even my wife and I refer to that as relationship maintenance. And so,
yeah,
you know, with every interpersonal relationship comes relationship maintenance. Looks different for friends than it does for a wife or spouse, but it's all relationship maintenance, and sometimes you got to put in the work, and it's tough now while you're not together to put in that work. So we're doing the best we can over our virtual videos.
With the relationship maintenance, that's a good piece that you mentioned. When you go to college, like you don't get to see your high school friends, and that's one way you can continue to keep their friendship is like putting time and effort into that relationship maintenance where you're going to video chat with them maybe like once a month, or you plan to like see each other over the holidays and like you set a date and a time and everything. because otherwise, life just gets in the way, and it's not anything that's bad or that's, a negative towards your friends, but you, with every different stage of your life, you have to, put in the effort to maintain the friendships that you've had in the past if you want to maintain those friendships. So you can't just expect the other person to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny. I had some really good friends that moved away, and Christina, you've talked before about your family that's moved away, and so you, even before you were forced to do, virtual hangouts and things during holidays and even during the year to stay connected with your siblings who had moved away. And after college, that's a pretty regular thing that, you all go back to your homes wherever they may be, or maybe you take jobs out of state. And so all of those friendships you worked to build in college or in high school, they're all like different places. So how do you stay connected? It's good. Good training for our high school students, I guess, to learn how to do that.
Definitely.
And be okay with it. It's sad when you move away, but they're not gone. They're not unaccessible.
No, and it's we used to just have letters, which you can still write letters if you want to. I've some college friends, that's their mode. They like to write letters to people. I usually put off letter writing, so I prefer the immediacy of a video chat.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do too. I remember when we first moved away, we could call each other and we could do Google Hangouts and things like that, but we often found ourselves connected by a video game or something. So we would get on, and I guess we found it easier to talk man stuff while we were shooting things in a video game.
Hey, if it works for you, right?
Yeah, whatever works. I see Nicole
got to see her sister in person.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, they just stayed outside, which I did that with my parents last week, or actually no, over the weekend, because they said that they had Easter candy for me, which was very nice of them. So I just stayed outside while they gave me some Easter candy. So.
Lucky you.
Mm-hmm. They miss all of us. That's why.
So I told you we made some candy this weekend. Ellie and I did. I guess the little crazy pants was involved as well, and my wife. But my wife had actually gone to the grocery store and she bought a 5-pound bag of almonds. Meant to buy salted, dry roasted almonds, which is but they weren't. They were plain almonds, and so we've been trying to push through and eat them. My wife likes them a little bit, but as we had all this chocolate melted, I thought, let's make some almond bark, right? Some candy bars. And so I made I chopped up a bunch of these almonds and made almond clusters, I guess. They were.
You gotta show us later in our advising, which is at 11 a.m. for Warsaw seniors and 3 p.m. for all seniors. Or wait, just Warsaw students, and then at 11, and then 3 p.m. for all seniors.
Yeah, thanks for that.
So Andy can show off his chocolate then.
I've actually boxed most of it up to give away, but do some of the things, I guess.
Okay. But I think we should probably
let's get
conversation
rolling with our topic. So our topic today is the TRiO pipeline. So that it's not actually a pipeline, right? But we talk about the TRiO pipeline as obviously TRiO is college access for students that might have some barriers to their going to college. That's why we're bound. But there's a lot of other programs that do similar work at different levels. And different levels, I mean different levels in your educational experience. So We're here to talk a little bit about the TRiO pipeline, and for your students who will be graduating high school or looking to graduate high school, which is all of you, to know what options there are after high school, after our GCC Upward Bound program, which you all, or at least most of you, so know and love. So, shall I share the
Yeah, share it.
document that a colleague of mine created?
It's a beautiful document. You had to see it in person. So vibrant. I see our faces. It's very meta.
I have our YouTube video up.
Okay, I'll keep the video up. I have Zoom minimized so I can still see comments if there's questions.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is meant to be printed out, but this is the digital version. So what you're going to see is maybe a little funny to read in this way because it is meant to be folded, but this is a really good explanation of the TRiO programs specific in New York State. And a little bit later, Christina is going to talk about how to find the TRiO programs throughout the nation because there are hundreds of them.
And I just wanted, before we get started, I know we talk about TRiO, and we do tell you like what it is, but I do think we should remind our audience and whoever's, here or will watch this later, like what TRiO is essentially. You did say that it is a college access program, but it's run through the Department of Education, which is a federal body of the US government. So they give us money essentially to run these college access grant programs. So with Upward Bound, we get a set pool of money from the US government to do all the things that we do with you guys, whether they're college visits or help you get school supplies, and anything else that you can think of that like we do in our program. So just put that out there.
So on this handout, and I can read this because it's a very good explanation to reiterate what Christina just said. For New York State, from downstate to upstate and everywhere in between, TRiO programs motivate and support students from disadvantaged backgrounds in their pursuit of college. Got to get rid of my notifications there. In pursuit of a college degree. I think I need some tech help to disable my Hangouts notifications. In New York State, more than 20,000 low-income first-generation students and students with disabilities from 6th grade through college graduation are served annually. So that's a pretty big number. We've got 90 students in our program or thereabouts. And just in New York State, 90 students at GCC Upward Bound are part of 20,000 students in New York State. That's incredible. So
a huge number.
If you face disadvantage, you are not alone in that. And so that's what TRiO programs are for. They provide academic tutoring, personal counseling, mentoring, financial guidance, and other supports necessary for educational access and retention. So that's what TRiO is all about. TRiO dates back to about 1965, 1966. We won't bore you with more history than that, but it's been around for over 50 years. And Upward Bound was actually one of the first programs.
One of the first 3 programs, because TRiO was named after 3 programs, but now it has expanded to like 7 or 9, depending on if you count the trainings as.
Yeah, so there's seven programs that you see here that serve students. The other 2 TRiO programs are for like staff training and things like that. But the way those are broken down, and I'll start with the blue box, which is talent search. That's the earliest program. So schools that have a talent search program, those students go in 6th grade, and it follows them through their high school graduation. Then I'll talk about the red box, which you guys know very well is Upward Bound. So there's actually 3 different Upward Bounds. What you know is called Upward Bound Classic, And then there's Upward Bound Math Science, abbreviated UBMS. And then there's Veterans Upward Bounds. And I think RIT is one of the only, actually, it is the only program in New York State or New Jersey, actually, that has a Veterans Upward Bound program. So RIT is.
Yeah, correct.
Another one you might be a little familiar with, GCC has a student support services, and student support services is at a lot of colleges, but that's the first college level program. So when you graduate Upward Bound, you graduate high school, you go into college, you can seek out a student support services program that will give you some of the same guidance and advisement and mentorship that our Upward Bound program does. So you don't have to just leave us, and certainly we want you to call us and keep us updated and do that relationship maintenance with us, but also to create new connections in college. And student support services is a great program to do that in. The next program I'll talk about is Educational Opportunity Centers, EOC. So we have one of those at GCC as well. It's called the Adult Educational Opportunity Center. And because GCC is such a commuter college, and so many students from around Western New York utilize GCC to boost their skill set. Maybe they are already working in a job and they want to get a certificate or a better degree to move up in their job or their field. They utilize GCC very well for that. And GCC provides a ton of opportunities. The EOC through GCC, I know these. The EOC through GCC, sorry about my phone call, provides help with going back to college. So all of those adults who have been out of the game, out of the educational game for a while, they might need a little help getting back into it. So EOC can help them with all the things you guys do your junior and senior year of college.
That's actually great if, say, you're a student who's part of Upward Bound and maybe your parents want to go back to school if they don't have a college degree. And this is a program that could assist them, because if you qualify, they're going to qualify. Most likely.
Yep.
So that's just a nice opportunity to keep college being part of people's lives, not just for you, but if that's a goal that your parents have, or maybe a different family member who's already, been working for a while.
Exactly. And then the last program is down at the bottom. It's kind of a grayish blue. It's called the Ronald E. McNair Post-Baccalaureate Achievement Program. So McNair,
that's a good name.
Yeah. Ronald E. McNair was an astronaut.
Mm-hmm. I think the one who passed away in the Challenger explosion. So they named it after him. I'm pretty sure that's where
I think that's correct. Yes.
Okay.
So the McNair program is super, super cool. One of the things that I know, speaking from my own experience, okay, I come from a not necessarily first generation. My mom did go to college, so I wasn't considered first generation. But my mom got a bachelor's degree. And I think that even if you had a parent with a bachelor's degree, and especially if you didn't have a parent with a bachelor's degree, getting a master's or even a doctorate, that seems like an untouchable sort of thing. Like, how can I do that? And kudos to Christina, who's pursuing her master's degree right now. It's a lot of work. And you don't really know what to expect. And if you have no one in your family who has taken their education to that high of a level, it's daunting. And I'm speaking from personal experience. That's daunting. You don't know.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, both my sisters, so they were the first ones in our family to get, the bachelor's and then the master's. But they did it in different fields as well. So the expectations for their master's programs were different than my master's program. And, you know, they got theirs done in like the early 2000s because they're a little bit older than me. It's just, it's a whole different game, a whole different beast than the bachelor's degree. And it's daunting if you don't have experience with it and you don't have someone who you can talk to about it, which is why I think this is such a wonderful program if you want to get a master's or a PhD.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the things you may not be aware of in a lot of master's degree or even doctoral track programs is that you might have to get published and you might have to present work you're doing in college in your master's degree at a conference. How in the world would one go about doing that? You know, if you're lucky, you're very connected to maybe a company or a business or some organization that you're able to land an internship at, or maybe you don't know how to get an internship. Hopefully your program is helping you to get the internship, but then where do you go from there and how do you be the best that you can be? And that's what McNair is all about, helping you not only do your work, which it's expected, you can do your work, you can do what the professors ask of you, you can write the papers. How do you translate that to real world meaningful work? And that's where McNair really comes in, because they help facilitate you going to conferences and presenting at those conferences around peers that are also in that field. And it doesn't matter what field it is. There's professional conferences in every field. We go to them for TRiO work and college access stuff. My brother, who's in construction, goes to conferences about civil construction. And, you know, as a teacher, you go to conferences about teaching and methodology. So no matter the field, there's going to be professional organizations that put on conferences. And for you to have the opportunity to present at them is an incredible thing. And it helps get your name out there, and it helps, you know, build your confidence. You're able to public speak and do what you're going to do. So it's a really cool.
Oh, I was just going to mention that at one of the conferences I attended last May for TRiO, I met a woman who is from Delaware, and she went through the McNair program, actually. So she went through the McNair program at her undergrad, and then that helped her place at a fantastic PhD program where she didn't end up having to pay for the PhD because she was also a graduate assistant. And I think she may have taught like a couple of like introductory level classes. But she said if it wasn't for that program, she wouldn't be where she is today.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So that is the TRiO programs in a nutshell. So when we talk about the TRiO pipeline, that's exactly it. We go from either talent surge or upward bound, in your case, to maybe student support services at the community college or four-year college level. And then, you know, we hope for all of you that you get the highest degree that you want and that's possible for you. And so from student support services comes McNair program, which is a really great opportunity for you to take your education to the top level. So where do you go about finding those programs? We're going to talk a little bit about that. And this whole document was actually created by a really good friend and colleague of mine at the University of Rochester. She worked with some of her graduate students and an actual designer to put this pamphlet together. Her picture is actually on the front page. This is Miss Kavan Henry. She's the director of the Upward Bound program at U of R. And actually, she's director of pre-college programs at U of R. So what we're looking at now is the second page. Christina, can you see that all right?
I was going to say, can you zoom in a little bit?
I can try.
The plus button, if you, yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. So these all of these programs are broken down by congressional district. So on the left side, you see the New York City area. One is going to be like Long Island area, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are going to be sort of Long Island areas. And then you have a big mass of districts within New York City. So let's say you live in New York City. This could be a helpful resource, and you can always ask if you're curious. I may post it to our Facebook page later.
Okay.
And here you have the program type and where they're located. So this is a New York State maps about where all of these programs are located. So it's nice. It's all in one place for you. And if you're considering maybe SUNY Binghamton is going to be down here in kind of central New York, right? And so if we go to,
I think it's like 19. It's either in 22 or 19.
It's 22. If we go to District 22, or you just scroll through the list and see if the college you have is there, or the college you're interested rather is there. So here's SUNY Binghamton, and SUNY Binghamton, wow, they have a lot of programs. They have Talent Search, they have McNair, they have Upward Bound, they have Upward Bound Math Science, they have another Upward Bound.
Wow.
Have 2 student support services programs. So they serve a ton of students down at Binghamton. So you might think, wow, geez, that might be meaningful to me. I'd really like to stay in the TRiO pipeline. I'm going to really consider Binghamton because I can use experience with Upward Bound, and I can take advantage of the services offered by student support services. And then I really think I want a master's degree. So I could even set a goal for myself to get into the McNair program there, and they could help me through that master's degree. And that's similar for any college. So there you have all of the colleges. And I'll go back to the first page because the first page actually contains the last page. On the left side here, you have districts 23 through 27. That's our area. You see here, I'll show you the second page, this map, upstate New York. And I guess everyone from New York City considers upstate New York as the actual New York shaped piece.
Basically.
Yeah, from district 17 up, upstate New York. But when I go to that last page, you're going to see colleges that you're probably pretty familiar with. You got Fredonia, Lemoyne, Syracuse, Monroe Community College, RIT, Rockport, Rochester, Canisius College, the Uville College, Medaille, University of Buffalo, and GCC. And even SUNY Geneseo has a McNair program now. They're in their cycle. Okay. So that is the TRiO pipeline for New York State. And I'm going to stop sharing, and I'll, I guess, turn it over to Christina, because we've talked about New York State, but TRiO is much bigger than just New York State. So Christina is going to show us just how big TRiO is, and if you wanted to travel out of state for college, how might you do that, and where might you find those programs?
So I was curious about this when I started my position, because I was like, all right, I'm new, might as well learn as much as I can about the federal body that supports us. So, and plus I talked to my sisters who live out of state, and they're like, how come I don't know about this program for Upward Bound or what have you? So I went to Department of Ed's website, which I will share. Okay. So the Department of Education, I just Googled it. I was like, Department of Ed TRiO program map, and then it led me to this page. So I found this page and I was like, oh, it's a lot of links. I don't know. So you can either click on the story maps, or you can scroll down to maps and say TRiO's footprint of and it says 2017 to 2018 project sites, but actually it shows this year it shows the 2018 to 2019 project sites. So they update this on an annual basis. Next year you'll see, after August, you'll probably see the 2019 to 2020 sites. So as you see, this is a lot of blobs of color, and that's just the continental United States. Even though, you know, the U.S. has territories, including Puerto Rico, so there's that blob down there is a bunch of different TRiO programs. And you can even look west and see what's in Hawaii, or go north and see what is in Alaska. So, like I said, that's just the blob. But if you want to see like how many upward bound programs are there in the US, you're not gonna, don't count all the dots, but you can just toggle over and press UB. It gives you information about upward bound and what all these different colors are. So you can zoom in on different areas. So I mostly zoom in on New York, but sometimes I have students who say, hey, I'm about to move out of state, but I still want to be part of Upward Bound. So when they tell me they're going to move out of state, I ask them whereabouts are they going to move, and is there a nearby Upward Bound program? Something that we could potentially work out with a different Upward Bound program to transfer. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So it just depends on like where you move to. So that's just Upward Bound, but because, you know, you'll be moving on to the next step, which you would either want SSS, Student Support Services, or McNair, you're going to click on SSS, and you see there's actually a lot more green than there was blue. And you can zoom in anywhere you'd like. So let's pick Ohio, because that's close by and there's some good schools in Ohio. If I can get this to work, it normally works fine, but I also don't have a mouse right now. Okay, zooming in. So you can see like, okay, where are the SSS programs in Ohio? Maybe you have family who live in Ohio and you want to go to school out there. So you can click on them and see, okay, where are the places that have it? Who is the contact person that you can contact? Maybe what website? So like Kent State, if that's a place that you're interested in. As you see, there's North Canton, North Central. Let's see over here. A lot of community colleges, but there's also four-year institutions like University of Toledo. There's got to be like some, oh, the Ohio State. You can't forget the, because they won't let you forget that. If you want to go to that school, you can also be part of student support services there, which is great. And like I said, there's a bunch of community colleges, but there's also 4 years. So that's just SSS. So maybe you're part of SSS, or maybe you didn't think about SSS, but now you want to try to get into McNair. You can still do that. We're going to look at McNair programs. So you actually see on, oh, whoa. I don't know how that happened. Maybe I can just do that.
Clearly TRiO programs are just in the United States.
Just in the US, because the US is giving us money for this. You see a bunch in California, you see some in the Midwest, where this looks like, you know, University of Michigan area, Wisconsin. You don't really see anything in like the West area, like where Wyoming and the Dakotas are. And there's a few on the East Coast too. So let's look at the East Coast, because maybe you have dreams of, you know, relocating to like Massachusetts. Why not? It's beautiful there, lots of seafood. So there's not many McNair programs, but oh my goodness.
That Zoom is tough, Christina.
It's normally not that bad. If you have a mouse, it's really easy. Okay. So you see that's at University of Massachusetts in Boston. That one is at Suffolk University. There's Boston College. And that is at Wellesley. I cannot say it.
Wellesley?
Yeah. That's a leftover speech impediment from my childhood. So you can see the McNair programs as well, which I think is pretty helpful. And, maybe this is something you want to consider as part of your college search, or maybe it's not, but we just want to show you where you can do this and where you can find these resources. And when you go to a college's website, you should be able to see their programs, what sort of support services that they have, and they'll often put it under TRiO. And so when you see the word TRiO, that's where you want to click on it and see, is it a college level TRiO service like SSS or EOC or McNair, or a pre-college one like Upward Bound or Talent Search? I don't know.
That's a good point.
And then you can also have it multiple views at the same time. So you can look at SSS. You should be able to do both at the same time. Normally you can.
I see the finger links in New York.
You can monkey around with it. I'm gonna stop sharing. You won't break the map, I promise. And you won't break your computer.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. But it's neat. I like that there is such a pipeline that if you leave our program, that there's still other supports that are out there. And even if it's not like a treatment program, there's other types of supportive services that exist as well. So I know that oftentimes we talk about like EOP or HEOP, and that is state run, through New York. Well, a little bit more about EOP and HEOP. So,
yeah.
Becky, you didn't know that map existed. Yep.
You could do that much with it. I love how you were able to go on each dot and see exactly what college it was. It also occurs to me that when students say, "Why do I need to learn geography?" That's why you need to be able to find.
Oh my gosh, you have to learn geography, at least of like where you are and like where you're placed within the surrounding areas.
Or
if you have a loss, you won't be able to find any resource. So I'm just saying, it's important. You don't have to memorize every river, but at least know your states.
Right. That reminds me, I guess just in speaking about geography, recently I've been trying to pay attention to the moon. As I had spoke about last week, that really bright light in the western sky. And I think I've determined that is definitely Venus, not necessarily a 5G satellite. So the 5G satellites are watching me or doing whatever they're doing, whatever. But it's pretty cool that is Venus. But the moon this weekend has been absolutely incredible. I think so, starting like last Wednesday or Thursday, straight through the weekend. I believe they call it the Passover moon because it happens during the Passover holiday every year. And it's been in the eastern sky. And it's been absolutely huge and really orange in color, which was really neat. But anyway, I know like driving around, often when I'm driving from west to east, I see this moon, and the moon appears like sometimes it's right in front of me, sometimes it's off to the left. and it's that I'm going in a direction that I think is pretty much due east, but the moon is off to my left.
Mhm.
I thought the moon should be in due east right now. I must be heading a little bit south. And sure enough, after I get home, I look at a map and I was heading quite a ways south. So
Mhm.
it's interesting how we sort of lose our sense of direction.
Yeah. With with my cell phone maps, I definitely I rely too much on them. But I can't, if it's an area I'm familiar with, then I don't need to rely on the maps, and I know where north, south, east, west is, and how to navigate that. So I'm like in my own community and in Rochester, I can do that pretty well. But another reason why you should pay attention to geography is that it can help you win trivia questions. This weekend, I did virtual trivia with a friend of ours, and my team won. So I won money for Amazon. So
Oh, nice.
yeah. And all I had to do was, tell you which. Well, that wasn't the only question, but one of the questions was about which ocean has the most islands. It's a combination of a geography and an earth science question.
I don't would know.
It was the Pacific Ocean. So if you remember in earth science, I'm going to get a little, this is like what I remember from 8th grade, okay? So you have like tectonic plates and they move and everything, and that's how you get mountains and volcanoes, etc. So the Atlantic Ocean, they have all of the plates go down. There's like that ridge that is, who knows, it's so deep. But the Pacific Ocean has all of them, like they hit each other and they form islands and volcanoes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the other oceans aren't significant when it comes to tectonic plates. So I was like, they don't really have that many islands.
I'm sorry, Mr. May, I don't remember as much as Christina does from earth science.
Oh, it's okay. I don't remember a ton from it, but enough to win me money.
That's right. That's always good.
All right.
I'm just checking out to see if we have any questions or any more comments on YouTube, and it doesn't look like we do.
No. So I think we could probably wrap it up. But
yeah,
if you're from Warsaw, come chat with us at 11.
Come chat at 11 for virtual advisement. It's a great time. All right. Hope to see you all soon. We have advisement every day this week. Check your portfolios for the information. The link is the same. Log on at your appointed time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, we will say good morning and good afternoon to everybody. Hope you have a great day.
Oh, Becky says the schedule's on Facebook. Look there too.
Schedule's on Facebook as well. Yes, I forgot about that. Thanks, Becky.
All right. Have a good day. See you later.
Bye-bye. You have